seems like they're everywhere you turn. Every single day they invade the headlines. Another half-wit criminal with a half-baked scheme. Another social media simpleton going viral. Another Florida man stretching the bounds of stupidity, or another pack of SJWs throwing a temper tantrum. And that's not even the worst of it. From the empty talking heads on the cable news channels, to the humorless hacks in Hollywood, to the pea-brained politicians pulling the puppet strings, everywhere you look, there's another idiot telling you how to live your life.
Like, people should be able to, like, eat what they want, do what they want.
Absolutely not.
I mean, it's not like he's going out there in his campaign ads like, Joe Biden is a reptile man.
He keeps the streets of Gotham City much safer than Commissioner Gordon, but he doesn't wear a badge because Batman doesn't have to follow any rules.
You know, all the kids started ganging up on him and calling him a little googly-eyed, pitchy-pants jelly boy.
Oh, I say the N-word all the time now. You know, I just go out on the strip and I scream it.
You say a succubus?
Whoa, Reverend!
A succubus? You don't know what a succubus is. You mean like, you talking like Cardi? Like Cardi B? I heard she got that wop.
Well, Jay and Anissa have had enough. Armed with clever satire, madcap humor, and the craziest cast of characters in podcasting, they're lining up and taking aim at the world of stupidity every single week. Because it is time to go to war. The War on Morons.
Hi, my name is Dr. Larry, and it is nice to meet you. It is Tuesday, November 24th, 2020, and I'm the guest host for episode 56 of the War on Moron show. Now, I gotta say, before I get into everything today, I've gotta say, I cannot believe that this program has 56 episodes. I mean, they've been doing this for over a year? I mean, it's called the War on Morons. I mean, that's it's a nasty name. I mean, I'm just gonna put it out there for the record. I do not think that you are a moron. And even if you were, I don't want to start a dang war against you. You know, that's not what I do. I help people. You know, I know this. Look, I know this is just a guest spot. But here, we're going to do a little rebranding here, because I've been doing this for a long time, and let's just play a little bit of pretend. So we're going to say this is season 21, episode 48.5 of It's Okay with Dr. Larry. That's me. All right, so back it up, Mr. Producer Man. Let's start this like my own show. Let's start it up, all right? All right, well, and now, from the KNOW-AM studios in majestic Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, you know him, you love him, he is the leader of the No Worry Army, Dr. Lawrence Rabinowitz.
This is my message to you. Don't worry about a thing.
Well, thanks for that wonderful introduction, Mr. Producer Man. And hello, America. Hello, all my new friends here on the Hyman Media Network. My name, of course, is Dr. Larry. And even if you recognize the sound of my voice, I've got to say to each and every man, woman, and child out there in the audience, it is nice to meet you. Now, before we get into the conversation for today, I need to talk to you. I need to talk to you about a big, scary day that's coming up. And I think you know what it is, don't you? That's right. I see the producer in there nodding his head. It's gobble day. I mean, it sure can be a difficult time of the year, can it? You know, especially if you got a family, or if you got friends, or even especially if you got in-laws. You know, they're all coming to your house. They're gonna see how filthy it is. They're gonna see how much of a mess your whole life is, really. I mean, that can cause a lot of anxiety. And we call that Thanksgiving blues. Don't even get me started on the politics. I mean, there's a big battle going on right now over who won that election, isn't there? You're going to let the Thanksgiving blues get you into another fight with your own kin across that Thanksgiving table? Hell, you might be carving up the turkey one minute and then carving up your uncle the next. So before you get all carried away this year, I just need you to sit down, pour yourself a heavy drink or two. And there is no better drink than Montana Mama's Mountain Moonshine. That's right, Montana Mama's Mountain Moonshine will knock you on your proverbial ass. Just a shot or two will do you. I swear by it. You know, I've been doing this program for... I think I've been doing it for about 21 years now. Montana Mama's been sponsoring this program for just about as long as we've been in existence. And I can't tell you the number of people that have told me, members of the No Worry Army that have told me, Dr. Larry, Montana Mama's Mountain Moonshine saved my life. Of course, you know, I always go to my good friend Pete. He'd been 15 years sober, never had a drop of liquor, and his life had fallen apart. His wife had left him. His savings had all dried up. He lost his daughter. She wanted nothing to do with him. Pete was at the end of his rope, and I said, "Come on, man, you gotta have a nice, refreshing glass. You just pour a whole damn glass of Montana Mama's Mountain Moonshine." And he did it. And Pete's never been happier. Last I heard, Pete told me he's never been happier a day in his life. He said, "Thank you, Dr. Larry. You taught me that I don't have to worry anymore because I don't even need those possessions. I don't need those people in my life. I just need that warm feeling in my gut that I get from a refreshing drink of Montana Mama's." So thank you, Montana Mamas. Thank you for sponsoring this program, and thank you for everybody out there that's listening in the Hammond Media Network that's just getting introduced to this show. What I do is I help people. I help them better their lives. I help them better who they are. And I dispense advice. Now, normally, if you don't catch me on the air, you gotta call up 1-900-ITS-OKAY. Of course, that's 1-900-ITS-OKAY. It's only $2.49 a minute, and I'll give you advice directly from myself, Dr. Larry. But tonight, I'm using the Morons hotline. You can call up 813 906-9099. Don't be shy. You know, you just heard a sampling of my advice. You heard how I helped my friend Pete save his life. You heard how I helped him join the No Worry Army. I can do the same thing for you, because a lot of people right now are really struggling. You know, we got this virus going around. It's killing people. It's killing jobs. It's keeping people locked up in their homes. It's making people feel like they don't have any hope. We got this election. I already touched on that. It's driving people up the wall mad. We've got all the stress of the holidays. I mean, I can't even get into all these things because I don't have concerns. I don't have fears. I don't have worries. I don't believe in it. I say no. I say no to fear. But if you're having trouble finding those two letters, finding your N and your O, well, call up 813-906-9099 and don't be shy. Remember, you're just talking to me, Dr. Larry. You know, we're not on KNOW. Nobody listens to the War on Morons. So nobody's going to hear this dumb old show. So anyway, I'll wait for your calls, and I'm looking forward to talking to you soon. But in the meantime, I understand there's a little bit of a gimmick on this program. I'm going to take part. I've got this stack of headlines here that Jay and Anissa left me when I worked out the agreement with them, the arrangement to host the show this week. So they could take a little Thanksgiving holiday. So they gave me this stack of stories. It says, this week's top morons. All right. Well, you know what? Let's see what this is all about, huh? All right. So, let's see here. So the first story, all right, it's about candy. You know, who doesn't like candy? You know, I got a little story about candy. If you don't mind, you can hopefully let me indulge you. You know, back when I had my own practice. Now, of course, if you weren't aware, you know, I am a psychotherapist. I don't just play one on the radio. I used to have my own practice, you know, before got in a little trouble with the state board. But anyway, I used to keep a nice big mason jar full of candies right on my desk. And every time that you, as my patient, made a breakthrough in your mental health, I would let you pick a candy. It was almost like I was trying to elicit a Pavlovian response. You know, I give you the candy when you make a breakthrough, and that will help you subconsciously make more breakthroughs. Your synapses are firing. I'm solving your problems left and right, left and right, left and right. It's basically what I call, you know, to speak to you, you know, in layman's terms, it was an incentive to lower your defenses. And that's how come nobody can hide anything from Dr. Larry. So for the big breakthroughs, like maybe you telling me who was diddling you, or maybe who you were diddling, or maybe who you were watching get diddled, or maybe who you knew was getting diddled and you weren't supposed to know. You know, for a big breakthrough like that, I'd even give you 2 candies. But they don't let me do that no more. But I ain't gonna cry about it. No, I'm a syndicated radio host. I'm a national radio host. You know, I make over $40,000 a year just to talk to folks like you, just to solve your problems. So in a way, it's almost like I'm the one who gets the candy now. Anyway, before I went on this this little tangent over here, I was gonna get into this story for you. So let me pull it up here. All right, so I was gonna tell you a story about that was from the news about candy that's racist. I mean, can you believe that? How's a candy gonna be racist? I mean, let me just think about it. Maybe there's a box of Juju bees. You know, it's gonna tell you about the wooden doors at Auschwitz. or maybe a bag of Skittles. You know, it's gonna call you the N-word. Now, I better stop before I get in trouble. Oh, the board doesn't like it when I talk like that, do they? No, but it turns out that Nestle, who makes some of my favorite candies, they just rebranded one of the most popular candies in Australia because it was a racist candy. So the candy was called Redskins. And everybody got worried that Redskins is a racial slur. Now, me personally, I didn't even know they had any Indians down there in Australia. You know, they certainly do here in Oklahoma, but that's besides the point. But these chuckleheads over at Nestle, they changed the name of the candy to Red Rippers. Now, if you're following along, Red Rippers, that's the name of a dang old serial killer. You might not remember him. The Red Ripper, he was a sexual sadist, and he raped and murdered 65 women and children all over Russia back in the 80s. I mean, that makes me hungry for a candy. How about you? You know, maybe next time they'll name a chocolate bar after John Wayne Gacy. You know, I would say Jeffrey Dahmer, but that's just crossing the line. Because, Jeffrey Dahmer, he was racist, so you can't have that. Anywho, speaking of racism, it may soon be a thing of the past because this next headline reads, American Medical Association shifts its focus to ending racism. Well, thank God, right? The folks at the AMA, they're taking time away from medicine to talk about social justice. I bet that really warms everybody's hearts. When the whole dang world's on lockdown. We've all got to worry about this pandemic virus, and they're trying to do a cure for racism. Maybe they'll write a prescription for that. Maybe they'll get a vaccine they can shoot you up with. But maybe I'm too quick to judge, because my next story, it tells me that maybe those eggheads in the AMA, maybe they're onto something. Because in Washington State, Asian people are turning white. That'll cure racism pretty quick, right? Everybody turns white, then nobody cares anymore. I know you're out there saying, Dr. Leary, what the hell are you talking about? The Asians ain't turning white in Washington. Well, no, they're not really turning people a different color. But what's happening is there's a school district out there, and they're reclassifying Asians as being white people. Or at least they're grouping them together with the whites when measuring their performance against people of color. Now, first off, let me just say, I might just be a humble therapist here, but, I feel like calling them people of color, I mean, that doesn't make it, I mean, well, for one here, and this is just a real sneaky way to help raise the white folks' math scores. Let's just be honest. But what I don't understand here is that yellow and white are both colors. So if you're going around calling people of color, I mean, shouldn't they be in the people of color? Shouldn't everybody be a people of color? Unless you're see-through or something. I mean, how the hell are these schools supposed to teach our children when they don't even understand colors? You know, you got to get past the Crayola stage before you can start getting to this trash. Now, you know, I don't want to group anybody by how they, you know, how well they do in school anyway. You know, when I'm being a racist, look, now that Mr. Producer's looking at, look, everybody does it. Everybody, I can admit it. Because I'm not... Look, when I'm being racist, I do it based on fear. And I know what you're thinking, but because I know what to be afraid of, I was able to say no to fear. So I know what is a problem. So... And I'll put it this way. If you're walking down a dark street at night, you know, you don't want to see a black or a Mexican fella coming at you, right? Well, yeah, of course not. But you don't want to get mugged, right? But you and me both know, if we're being honest, an Asian guy's even worse. Because they know Kung Fu. I don't care who the hell you are. You're not going to get away from some back alley Chinese kung fu master. You know, if he wants to get his grubby hands on your wallet, or if he wants to steal a taste of your sweet ass. Hold on. It looks like I'm getting a phone call. Let's see if I can pick it up. Thanks for calling It's Okay with Dr. Larry. This is Dr. Larry, and it is nice to meet you.
You know what, Dr. Larry? It's not so nice to talk to you. What the hell do you think you're doing?
What do you mean? Who? You got to tell me what your name is and what city you're calling from. I think that's the protocol.
Well, my name is Anissa, and I'm the host of this show, which is not called It's Okay with Dr. Larry. It's called The War on Morons, which you're supposed to be guest hosting, not turning into episode whatever of your own show.
Oh, I see what's happening here. You are just a little bit jealous that Dr. Larry knows how to do a better radio program than you. And it's making you so upset that you're interrupting your vacation. Well, it's all right. I got a solve for that. I can solve your problem. Are you ready?
Dr. Larry, before you say that, whatever it is you're going to say.
And here's the solution. Don't worry about it. Just relax. Have some of that Montana Mama's Mountain Moonshine. Again, everybody out there, Montana Mama's Mountain Moonshine, it's the best drink you can find. It'll knock you on your proverbial ass. They sponsored the program.
No, they did not. They sponsored you, I guess, but they did not sponsor us, so don't go plugging them on our show.
Montana Mama's Mountain Moonshine? You don't want me to say Montana Mama's Mountain Moonshine?
Dr. Larry, if you say that one more time, I swear to God, I will fly back on an overnight flight and I will kick your ass personally.
Well, what am I supposed to do? You didn't tell. You want me to just read these stories?
Yeah, I want you to just read the stories, and I want you to not be racist, not be bigoted, not turn off all our audience with your horrifying views. Like, just read the stories.
What's racist about saying? I think it's. I was being complimentary. I said that the Chinese fella is good at kung fu. I said if you see a yellow man in a dark alley, turn the other way, run as fast as you can, because he's going to go Bruce Lee.
Stop it. What the hell's wrong with you? I don't know how you're living out in Oklahoma, but the rest of the world really doesn't feel this way, and it's not funny. Like, we're a comedy show, not a racist show. What the hell are you thinking?
Well, we don't really have so many of that. It's mostly the red man out here, but you know, they don't know that much kung fu. They're usually drunk on Montana Mama's Mountain Moonshine.
That's it. I'm coming home. I'm finding the next flight out. I am going to kick your ass so hard, Dr. Larry. I knew this was a bad idea.
It's all right. We're not actually on the air. You imagined it.
I've been listening to you.
Bye. Problem solved. Bye. Bye. All right. Well, that was certainly an interesting call. I don't really. I mean, can we go back and delete that one out in post? What do you mean? All right, Mr. Producer's telling me that this is a live broadcast. I wasn't realize. I wasn't aware. I thought that these guys did like a gimmick, like a recorded. Son of a. All right, what? Let's just cue up one of the callers, one of the voicemails. Yeah. All right. Well, we got a lot of people that called up during the week. They knew I was going to be hosting this week. They wanted to get some advice from Dr. Larry to solve some of their problems. So we've got the first one. Go ahead and cue up voicemail number 1, and here we go.
Yeah, this is Doug in Denver, and I want to leave a message for Dr. Larry because I'm getting discriminated against by affirmative action at my job. So I work at this place. It's called Paco's Tacos. I just started working there a couple weeks ago, and it sucks because they make me I gotta clean the dishes, and I gotta take orders. I gotta mop the floor. I gotta prep food. Like, I'm supposed to show up for work on time. Like, I mean, I don't do all that stuff, but I'm supposed to, and it's really hard. And I get paid like $9 an hour, and I'd rather be the manager, then I could not have to do all that bullshit. But they got this black guy as the manager, and I feel like it's affirmative action from discrimination, and I'd like to know how I could do what I could do about that black guy. So help me, Dr. Larry. Bye.
All right, Doug. Well, thank you so much for your question. Thanks for trusting Dr. Larry to solve your problems, and I really think I can. But before I get to the solution, let me just say it is nice to meet you. Now, as far as this taco restaurant and them making you do all this grunt work and you not being the manager and, maybe you want to get a little more money, it's an easy solution. Don't let affirmative action cause your problems. Let it solve them for you, Doug. So what you need to do is you need to go back to work tomorrow, and you need to tell them that from this point forward, you identify as a Mexican woman, because that's an even more protected class than whatever your boss is now. So if they ask you to prove it, just tell them you don't speak English, because you're gonna be Maria, the Mexican manager. That's gonna be you, Doug. So you're welcome. Problem solved. Anyway, speaking of my Mexican friends, I've got a commercial to play here from another one of my sponsors. I think you're going to love their product, and I'll be right back after these messages. Traffic accident, wrongful termination, sexual harassment, emotional distress, divorce, assault. Life is nothing but a series of terrible experiences, one after the other. You might as well get paid for them, right? I'm Gomez, and I'm Gonzalez, and we are the attorneys with attitude. Unlike these lazy, cheapskate ambulance chasers, like Jameson, and Johnson, we have passion for your case, and we will get you your money, even if we gotta beat it out of somebody. So if you have a serious case that needs serious attention, call 1-800-4G and 4G and talk to Gomez y Gonzalez today. Any other lawyer is just a liability. All right, well, now that we got that first block of headlines out of the way, and now that we paid some bills, let's see if we got any stories in this stack that ain't about somebody's race. I mean, at this point, I feel like I'm speaking at the Democrat National Convention or something. All right, let's see what we got here. All right, I like this one. Let's talk about perverts. See, as I keep letting you people know, I am a psychotherapist. So that means I am an expert in perverts and pervert behavior. But this one's a juicy story here. Because apparently the Pope himself is cruising around on the internet looking at booties. That's right. That's right. You didn't hear me wrong. I couldn't have made this one up if I wanted to. Dr. Larry is not that creative. The Vatican has opened up an investigation to get to the bottom of why Pope Francis has lacked some Brazilian Instagram model's picture of her bare ass, or her almost bare ass, flashing out of a schoolgirl uniform. So the model, she's joked on the internet. She said, at least she knows now that she's going to go to heaven. You know, it might be wrong to say this, but I think everybody should just be thankful that the Pope is looking at a full-grown woman. I mean, usually he'd be dipping his scepter in an altar boy. But I mean, this guy, apparently he's got the taste of an NBA basketball player or something. I mean, is this Pope even Catholic? Anyway, speaking of priests and prostitutes, neither one of which is a suitable substitute for a good therapist, no matter what Billy Joe Armstrong tells you. But anyway, Christians in California are in an uproar because strip clubs are set to reopen from COVID restrictions before churches. I know. I didn't believe it either. I mean, there's still Christians in California. I mean, that's crazy, right? But yeah, no, anyway, some judge in San Diego, he ruled that anything preventing these clubs from being able to provide a full, live, adult entertainment experience is a violation of the First Amendment. You know, that old thing about free speech and freedom of religion. I mean, I gotta say, I'm not mad at their hustle. Yeah, and you know me, I certainly ain't worried about it. But when Dr. Larry goes to the strip club, he's not trying to exercise any kind of speech. I mean, I do think I might have had a religious experience at the titty bar in Dallas one time, but I don't think about the First Amendment when I'm thinking about a strip club. I do think about a church, so I can understand why they're a little bit frustrated. Moving right along, since we're talking about that dang virus, get a load of this one. So Tyson Foods is getting sued in a wrongful death lawsuit because a few of their employees at a pork processing plant in Iowa caught the virus and died. And that's sad. You know, I'm not trying to make fun of some Mexican meat packer dying of corona. At least not the virus. But the crazy part is, this lawsuit, in this lawsuit, their families are claiming that the managers at the plant were taking bets on which one of the employees were going to contract COVID next. And they had a cash buy-in, winner-takes-all pool, betting on it. Just betting on which one of these meat packers is going to catch COVID and die. I mean, it doesn't say who won, but I hope they save some of those winnings. I bet they're going to, you know, I hope that Gomez and Gonzalez, you know, the attorneys, the best attorneys in Texas, if you ask me. I hope that they're on the case. I mean, I know they already got a lawsuit going here, but there's nothing wrong with doubling down, doubling up your money. Gomez and Gonzalez, they'll take care of anything. And I'm just speaking from personal experience. You know, my good friends, members of the No Worry Army, I can tell you, my good friend Susie in Little Rock, Arkansas. So she's a school teacher. She was sleeping with one of her students, and she was in a mess of trouble. The newspaper there in Little Rock exposed it. And you know what? She called Gomez and Gonzalez. She sued that newspaper for ruining her reputation. Now, she is serving time to this day for statutory rape. But when she gets out, she's going to have plenty of money. She's got plenty of money for her commissary in the meantime because she was able to sue that Little Rock, Arkansas newspaper. So Gomez and Gonzalez, another satisfied client. Oh, look at that. My phone's ringing again. Let's check it out. Thanks for calling the War on Morons, hosted by Dr. Larry. You're on the air. How can I help you? It is nice to meet you. State your name. Who are you?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Who's this?
My name's Jimmy James. James, Jameson, and Johnson. And you and me have got a problem, buddy.
I'm afraid we haven't met, but Jimmy, it is, like I said, it is nice to...
Would you shut your fucking mouth?
Whoa, hey, Mr. Producer, can you get the 7 seconds on that?
Listen here. I have an exclusive contract with the War on Morons radio and television program to broadcast any and all legal related commercials. And you come on here with Gomez and Gonzalez? Are you kidding me? With those two sons of bitches? I'm telling you, I don't know who you are, Larry, but I'm gonna sue your ass. You need to go back and you need to disavow those two grifters and everything they're speaking about on these airwaves. I'm telling you, I ain't kidding around.
Oh, well, you know what? Me no speak English. Bye.
Well, come on,
man. All right. Well, after a nasty call like that, and let me just say, if anybody out there thinks they're going to take Dr. Larry to a courtroom, you wouldn't be the first that's tried. I've got good representation myself. I've got my good friends Gomez and Gonzalez. And, I'm not even going to get into it. I'm just going to get to this next set of stories. I think this next story fits real good because just like yours truly, the governor of New York State, Andrew Cuomo, he's coming under a bit of fire this week just for trying to give himself a measly little raise for doing a good job. And that's all I'm trying to do. When you hear me getting my plugs in, you hear me talking, and they're wonderful services and wonderful products, but I'm just trying to make a little bit of extra money. I'm just going to be honest. I'm just trying to make it a little bit of extra money. Last year, I made about $41,000 from my radio show, but I make extra money from my endorsements, and I had to pay to be on this program because they should have paid me. Anyway, Andrew Cuomo, he's already the highest paid governor in America, and he gave himself about a 10% raise, an extra $25,000 a year. But everybody thinks that he's a bad guy. I guess because his state's $63 billion in debt, and he killed thousands of his citizens this year with the coronavirus. But I say, leave my guy Andy alone. He works hard. He's got a lot of stress, and $25,000, an extra $25,000 will help him worry less. And I look at him, I can tell he's an Italian. Italians, they don't tend to live that long. You know, when they have a lot of stress, they get high blood pressure. I don't want him to have a heart attack. Anyway, speaking of Italians and politicians out there, Dr. Fauci's announced that everyone still needs to wear masks and social distance even after getting shot up with the coronavirus vaccine. In fact, Dr. Fauci doesn't think we should ever stop. Now, I don't know about all you people out there in Raging Land, but Dr. Larry hasn't gotten one sniffle since this whole thing started. What's it been, back in March? April, something like that? Now, maybe that little Fauci's on to something, that little goblin. I still think he just wants everybody wearing masks just because he's so gosh dang ugly. Yeah, I bet the next thing he's gonna come out with is everybody's gotta walk around on their knees. You know, because the coronavirus, it floats in the air. It floats in the air at about 6 feet. So you gotta walk around on your knees. Gotta make sure you keep your head low so you don't catch it. Anything to distract you from the fact that Dr. Anthony Fauci is a midget. Do you know he's a dwarf? Anyway, one last virus story before we move on. Did you see this one? I guess it's happening all over the country. Not so much here in Oklahoma. You know, we tend to have a pretty free state here. You know, we're not worried about too much. But the governor of Pennsylvania, Tom Wolf, you know, he's been one of the more strict governors. He's got one of the strictest lockdowns in the country right now. Philadelphia is completely locked down. You can't have a gathering at all. Pennsylvania, you can't leave or enter the state without shoving one of them damn tests up your dang nose. But now, with Thanksgiving, of course, Thanksgiving's just 2 days away now, the state health department has expanded their mandatory mask order to force people to wear those stupid masks inside their own houses whenever they have company. Now, I've got no idea how you're going to enforce this one, but, don't worry, because the silver lining is if you're in Pennsylvania, at least you don't have to look your ugly old family members' faces. You don't have to look at their ugly faces while you're eating turkey this year. You don't have to hold it down while looking at Aunt Hilda's ugly mug. You know, I like that Tom Wolf better when he's writing about the acid test anyway. How did he go from the electric Kool-Aid acid test to being the governor of a big state like Pennsylvania? Anyway, I got another call coming in. I got to say, what a fun night. All right, area code 757. You're on with Dr. Larry. How can I help you?
Hi, Dr. Larry. This is Mindy from Norfolk, and I was calling because I really need your advice.
Oh, well, I'm so glad you called. Of course, I do want to let you know it is nice to meet you. But I'm sure I can solve your problem. What's going on, Mindy?
Well, see, I'm having a small gathering for Thanksgiving. It's not the usual crowd, but I am having some close friends and family over, and I have this problem that happens every year at Thanksgiving. I just don't know what to do.
Okay.
But I'm really stressed out about it.
Okay.
See, every year, everyone comes over, and they see my cat, Mr. Mittens. And Mr. Mittens is just the cutest little gentleman you ever did see, okay? He is so adorable. Nobody.
The cat is, Mr. Mittens?
Yes, you could not say no to Mr. Mittens. He just looks up at you with these little eyes, and he has a little face. I mean, you can't say no to him. So when he comes around the dinner table when we're eating Thanksgiving dinner, you know, he just looks up at you with those eyes, and he lets out a little purr, And, you know, he's a chunky little boy, but, you know, you can't say no to him. So everybody gives him table scraps. They give him giblets and gravy and stuffing and cranberry relish and, oh gosh, just any damn thing. And he eats it all.
You feed the cat, you say you feed the cat cranberry relish?
I don't, but my relatives and friends do. He loves it. He loves the stuff. And I mean, he's gotten to be, you know, quite sizable for his age, but you know, that's really not the issue here. I mean, you know, I'm not too worried about his weight. I think it suits him. But the issue is they feed him these treats and he loves it, but then later that night after all the guests go home, Mr. Mittens has nothing but explosive diarrhea all over my house. I mean, I have cat shit in my mattress. I have it in my recliner. I have it on my floor. It's gotten on the walls. I mean, I have to clean the whole house from top to bottom with bleach after a night of this. It's unbelievable. And
that sounds like I mean, Thanksgiving's supposed to be a time where you're thankful, Mindy. And I don't think you feel thankful scrubbing diarrhea from a cat off of every square inch of your house. Now, do you feel thankful when that happens?
No, I sure don't. And I try to tell my friends and family, I said, please don't give Mr. Mittens any table scraps, please. I don't want to gross them out right before Thanksgiving dinner and tell them why, but I just ask them, please don't. But, you know, they see his little face and they just can't say no, and I just don't know what to do.
So you need me to solve this problem?
Yes, I really do.
Well, first off, I want to tell you not to worry. No worries. I am inducting you into frankly, I'm going to induct you into the No Worry Hall of Fame, because after this Thanksgiving, you will never have to worry about Mr. Mittens and his incontinence ever again. How does that sound?
Oh, that sounds wonderful. That's why I called.
Well, I'm going to solve this problem for about $5. And because that is the price for a box of Remington shotgun shells.
What?
You need to put that cat down.
Oh, my...
That is disgusting. You're letting that god dang creature, that fuzzball, crap all over your belongings. You're scrubbing diarrhea like some kind of messed up Cinderella. Are you kidding me? You need to get a shotgun, point it at your cat, and put it down.
Oh my God, you're a
Next
man.
Problem solved. You're welcome. Next caller.
All right. Well, that was an easy one. You know, we've had some weird calls today. We've had some difficult calls, but I've said it many times. How could somebody have one of these varmints in their house, eating their food, crapping in a sandbox in their house, clawing at them? I don't understand. I've seen these cats. I've seen these dogs too. Dr. Larry does not endorse any kind of pets. If you have a pet, you probably belong in some sort of a mental institution. And I say that as a psychotherapist. Anyway, Mr. Producer, we got another one of those voicemails. Cue up. We only got one other one. I mean, we asked everybody for a week. I told those morons to leave us a voicemail. Well, just cue it up. Play the second voicemail. I'll solve their problem, too.
Hey, Dr. Larry. My name's Jeff from Carson City. I was just hoping you could help me wrap my head around, understand, cope with. I just don't know. I mean, the Democrats, these globalists, they're working with China, and they're trying to, rig our elections. They're trying to steal our country. And I mean, it's happening right under our noses, and I just feel like we're in the middle of some kind of a communist takeover. Like, are we going to have a civil war? Am I going to have to send my son off to die? I mean, I'm getting really stressed out about this. It doesn't feel like a normal election, Dr. Larry. I really want you to help me. So hopefully you get some good advice for me.
All right, Jeff. Well, first off, thank you for your question. Thank you for following the instructions and calling and leaving me a voicemail during the week. I wish more people had, instead of calling me during the show and making me work hard. But your question's really easy to answer, and it is nice to meet you. But Jeff, I know you. I know we've spoken before. You've been in the No Worry Army for a long time. You've called my regular show. What the hell are you doing worrying, man? Like, this is we got an easy solution for this one. There's this thing called Rosetta Stone. It teaches you a new language. Just go get the Rosetta Stone and learn Chinese. It can't be that hard. I mean, billions of Chinese fellas speak it already. You don't think you're smarter than a Chinaman? Learn Chinese. It won't matter when they take us over. Problem solved. All right. Well, let's see. Looks like we got some more. Just not too many more, but we got some more. So another fun story for you. This one's about one of them dummies in Hollywood. You ever hear some actress named Emily Ratajkowski? I haven't myself. I haven't. I don't watch too much TV. I'm too busy helping people. But apparently this girl needs some help herself because she's pregnant right now. And when people ask her whether she wants to have a boy or a girl, she's been telling them that she won't even know until it's 18 years old, meaning she won't know whether she had a boy or a girl until it's old enough to go join the army. I mean, Emily, I don't know how to tell you this, you bimbo, but there's a pretty easy way to find out. I mean, what's your plan for when your baby needs a diaper change? You know, you're just gonna put on a blindfold and just kind of fumble around down there? I mean, boys got a penis, girls got a vagina. It's not that hard. I mean, if you think that's bad, though, she elaborated. She said her biggest fear is that her unborn baby will grow up to be a white male. She said she don't want to bring a white male, that is, into a patriarchal world because she thinks he'll traumatize people. She's losing sleep over this. Some friend of hers had the same issue. She found out she was having a baby boy. She cried for a month. I mean, I hate to say it. There's a 50-50 chance this dang woman's gonna end up chopping off her baby's ding-a-ling in a few months. Yeah, can you imagine that? She's gonna be looking for a moil. She's gonna be, how much for a little extra? Now, I want you to do a little more than just the tip. I just lop the whole thing off. I don't want him traumatizing people. I want to have a trans baby. I gotta tell y'all, I mean, I've been doing this show on the radio for 20 odd years. Plus I had my practice for a spell back half in 92. And I gotta say, I've never come across a transsexual infant before. I mean, how's that even happen? I mean, is that what happens when you diddle a baby? If you got the answer to that, maybe somebody got a little handsy with you in the baby crib, I got a whole bag of candy for you. So call 813-906-9099. Tell us about when you got diddled as a baby, and I'll give you some candy for your story. Anyway, speaking of gender-confused celebrities, some pop singer named Harry Styles is in the news. He was posing in a bunch of ladies' dresses for a shoot in Vogue magazine. Well, I mean, that's not news. I mean, he's a rock and roll singer. You think he's the first pop singer, rock and roll singer to put a skirt on? I mean, these people, I mean, they never heard of George Michael, Boy George, Prince? I mean, come on. But the funny thing is, I mean, Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro, they about had an aneurysm about him. They said that America has fallen to the communists. They're sounding like that guy Jeff in Carson City. They say America's fallen to the communists because this guy Harry Styles put on a dress. I mean, that makes me wonder, how come back in the 80s, Ronald Reagan and Margaret Thatcher didn't do something about Boy George? Maybe we were communists back then. We didn't even know. The kid still looks like a fruitcake, though. Oh, man, I should probably watch my mouth. You can't say what you think anymore. Just because I don't know if these people, they their parents dropped them on their head too much. They licked too many paint chips when they were a kid. But everybody's too soft nowadays. And I say this as a therapist. I've had a lot of people confess a lot of things to me, and I'll tell you all about every one of their confessions. If you listen to my show, my regular show, It's Okay with Dr. Larry on KNOW, I get into great detail about things that were told to me in confidence, on the therapist's couch. But there's just something wrong with people these days. But according to this last headline of the evening, you can actually be sent to prison for making fun of people that have these issues, in particular of the people with the trans thing. I mean, this isn't America, not yet, but in Norway, they just passed a hate speech law. And it says they can lock you up for a year if you make discriminatory remarks about a trans in private. But if you think that's bad, they'll put you in prison for 3 years if you say it in public. Now, let's give you some perspective on that. So, I don't know if you remember, but a few years ago in Norway, some guy killed 77 people. He just up and shot 77 people. They gave him 21 years. In a real nice jail, too. Basically, he's living better than half the people in Oklahoma City. He's got a nice apartment for his jail. But 21 years for 77 deaths. You get 3 years for talking about one guy wearing a dress. I mean, you'd get about the same sentence if you go on YouTube and you heckle an episode of the RuPaul show. I mean, I don't even know. Oh, I'm getting another call. It's probably the police at this point. All right, area code 413. You're on the Dr. Larry, the War on Morons show with Dr. Larry. How can I help you?
Yeah, this is Chuck in Massachusetts. Can you hear me okay? Yeah, I can hear you all right. And I've got to tell you, Chuck, it is nice. Yeah. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. I've been listening. You've told fucking everybody that's calling it's nice to meet you. Like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Okay, you realize you're calling a self-help show, right? Well, yeah, I need a little bit of help here. But, I mean, every time you could, I mean, it's getting tired. It's getting tired, Larry. Why don't you just say hello? Well, I mean, I don't know why you gotta call up with all this aggression, and I really would prefer if you're not using the naughty word that starts with the letter F, because I don't want to get an FCC viola. Fuck you and your fucking FCC. Come on, Chuck. What did I do to you, man? Like, we're almost at the end of the show. You're calling up. You're dropping. Just tell me your problem. Just tell me your problem. What is it that's got you all worked up? I'll try to help you, but please, just watch the language. All right, I'll try not to say fuck anymore. But whatever. Anyway, so here's the thing. So obviously you know me. I'm Chuck Chickaree from the Chickarees. I obviously don't have a lot of use. Hold on, you're who? I'm Chuck Chickaree from the Chickarees. I'm the guy in the bird suit. You're a man that wears a bird suit. I'm a baseball mascot. You don't know who the fucking Chickarees are? I'm not familiar, but it's nice. Don't say it. Don't fucking say it.
Well, I'm glad to make your acquaintance, Chuck. Why do you're in a bird suit? Yeah. So I wear a bird suit. Apparently everybody knows I'm the only guy in Springfield area that's got a bird suit. They wanted to have me at this Thanksgiving party. It's a bootleg party. A lot of people didn't know. Because, of course, with everything going around with this fake virus, we're not supposed to have a gathering, but there was a big gathering. They needed somebody to be there and be the turkey. And they paid $300. Do you know how hard I have to work for $300 in the off season, Dr. Larry? All right, so you got $300 for wearing a bird suit. Was this like a kind of like a birthday party, that sort of thing, but for Thanksgiving? It wasn't quite like that, but the problem is, Dr. Larry, I don't feel comfortable with what they made me do while I was wearing this bird suit. I don't know if I want you to elaborate. I mean, you've used some nasty language already, and now I kind of feel like I know where you're going with this. I don't think you do. Do you know what a furry is, Dr. Larry? Do you know what a furry is? Because apparently they think that I'm a furry, and they wanted to induct me into their little sick, fucked up sex party. They're doing S&M in teddy bear costumes. They're dressing up like these big fuzzy dogs with the dick and the balls hanging out and the bits hanging out. And they're whipping each other with leather belts, and they're sticking ball gags in their mouth, Dr. Larry. I don't want to do that. I don't care if they're going to give me $300. Chuck, I don't know if this is a problem I can solve. Dr. Larry, I did it. I did all the stuff that they were doing, and I took the $300, and I'm going to be back for the Christmas party, and I just don't know how I feel about that. Chuck, I think you should just accept your life as a furry, and I think you should probably lose this number. All right, I think I could do that. It was nice to meet you, Dr. Larry. If you want, we're going to be at the Radisson. We're going to be at the Radisson in Albany next week. I'll get you an invite. I don't think I'm going to be there. All right, let me know if you do. Bye, Chuck.
Well, I was actually planning on staying a little longer. I was going to try to go 90 minutes, but after that last call, I've got to say, I think I've reached my full moron capacity for the day. I'm moroned out. I'm tapping out. No more Dr. Larry on the Moron Show. Y'all can have it. So next week, you're going to get your normal hosts, Jay or whatever his name is, and Anissa, they're going to be back. You can catch me where you should have been listening to me in the first place, and that's KNOW Oklahoma City on It's Okay with Dr. Larry, giving you a real advice show. And in the meantime, have yourself a good week, have yourself a good Thanksgiving, and if you need advice, you know where to find me.
This is my message to you. Don't worry about a thing.